I'm so grateful to see so many faces that I've seen, haven't seen before, may have seen, but never approached. But today is going to be a day of gratitude and history in the making. So I'm grateful and proud to be your host for this evening. But today is not about me or you, unfortunately. Today is about the main man, Haroon.
This is dedicated to every single person who's left one home to go make a home somewhere else. Get off the plane first. God rewards a bias for action. Journey across borders and continents and tread the earth gently, unlike those who forced us to abandon our lands, once abundant and self-sufficient, now chief importers, exacerbating deficits. Get off the plane first and breathe in the air. Free from dust, thick with prejudice and assumptions. Let your feet adjust to roads paved by cold weather and colder hearts. Make a home laced with anxious talk of involuntary repatriation. I was born of all of that. However, defeating anger is joyful. My resentment dissipates. Or does it? You see, my ancestors focused on survival so I could thrive. Their care intertwined with neglect and dysfunction. Hurt people hurt people. And at this moment here in Sydenham, at 7:41, I want you to bear witness to this and what I'm about to say. No more looking over my shoulder and no more dwelling on it. It is time to draw a line under all of it. Process it, document it, and then build. Press play to let the movie begin. Thank you.
For those that don't know, I'll go by the name Suave.
What does that stand for?
Oh, I always do love explaining this. So I spell it first. I'll explain the spelling. The spelling is SWVRTHY. What did I say? SWV?
THY.
THY. So the V is intentionally meant to be an A. So the actual Oxford spelling is SWARTHY, which means dark complexion. As you can see, you know, the darker the berry,
The sweeter the juice.
So that's why I'm Suave. But as well as that, the SWV is intentional because if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, it's at Spoken with Vision. That's at Spoken with Vision, SWV, just like my favorite girl band. So, yeah.
Bars.
Regrettably, they didn't end up in any of the playlists for tonight.
Nah.
That's maybe an oversight.
Don't worry. Hopefully, let's force him to do a second book, depending on how this one goes and how many sales we can get. So people support the thing. You'll have a second one, and I can get to play my band. But today, as I mentioned, is all about you. We wanted to do something different, so
something interactive.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just perform at you. So, yeah, I think true to like my love of hip hop.
True.
We figured we'd sample. So what we've come up with for the next, I guess, 40 or so minutes is something that's called a search party. So, like a good little boy, I'm going to clear my samples and give credit. So there's this incredible playwright, novelist, poet called Inyo Ellams, and he does this format called a search party where it's interactive. You guys throw out a word, I'm going to search for it, and if that word is in a poem in the book, I'm going to read it. So we have no idea which direction it can go in, and with each poem, you guys can sort of jump in after every one or two poems, ask a question, There's a camera rolling, so within reason, you can ask what you like. Don't use this as an excuse to like sandbag me or anything like that, which has probably tempted at least one or two people.
I'm on my best behavior today, so.
We've been warned.
All right.
And so, yeah, it'll be a chance for you to ask about the book, process, or just anything around creativity and what happened with the journey to bring this book to you, which took 6.5 years. So, and God knows how many edits and redrafts.
I only saw a couple, and there were a lot. So
how can we kick this off?
So to kick it off, who thinks they've known Haroon the longest? Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Haroon's cousin,
You?
Javed.
Let's hear it for Javed.
Good. I'm gonna come find some stories from you later. So would you like to give us a word?
Any word?
Any word.
And we'll see if it's in the book, and then that will prompt the poem.
Weaving. I feel like you may have used that word. No.
Nope.
No weaving.
We're going to need another word.
Another word. Second person that's known Haroon the longest. Sorry, I'm interrupting your food, but just shout me a word. Love. Oh, you're gonna have bears.
Yeah, this.
Okay, so how many came? So.
Oh man, so there are quite a few hits.
How many do you have? How many?
There are 88 hits for Love in the book.
Okay. Perfect. So,
how do we narrow it down?
I can narrow it down.
You can.
I can.
You came ready.
How long have you known Haroon for? 40. That's the number we're going to. So go to the Love, number 40, and we'll pick that one from the poem it comes on to. So that's how we're going to go and start it off.
There is method to your madness.
There is method to the madness. Come on, man. You just got to find the madness. That's all. But yeah, so has anyone got the book yet?
I'm waiting on it.
Oh, see, there's one person who cut the line. But don't worry about it. We're going to have a break later.
We have a candidate.
Oh, we do have a candidate. Title, or you're just going to go straight into it?
So, the title is Sometimes,
Ooh.
and it's in a chapter. So the book's broken up into intermissions, and each intermission is a poem. So should we also use the corresponding intermission poem to give people a feel for what's going on in the chapter?
Yeah. What's this intermission?
This is intermission number 6.
Jeez. Intermission 6.
Yes, it's 46. So this chapter is one of multiple chapters that sort of touches on love. So intermission 6.
Ooh.
Platonic love, found family, lost family, rediscovered family, LDN, Southeast Asia, and brotherly love. So yeah, the whole chapter touches on different things. So let's read the poem, Sometimes. No long ting, gatherings south of the river, sometimes north because fuck dogma. Stylus rides through grooves, clockwise motion, occasionally countered. Vibrations travel through the air. Do you remember? Bass lines stretched, drum breaks, bodies connect to the inner self. I alternate, moving and swaying 1 minute, another minute I'm observing my new surrogate family. They dance, vogue, whack, two-step shuffle, break, body pop. Some more skilled than others. Each has one thing in common. Connecting to the source. Joy, honesty, love, blood flowing. Stagnation, a foreign concept. A balm as I navigate reinvention. Let's do one more and then we can have a little chat with the audience. Let them get a bit more involved. Yeah?
So you want to do one more poem?
One more.
One more. Okay.
So what's your next vehicle for extracting words out of people?
This one is so today is the 9th of September 2023. It's 0909. Is there anyone here whose birthday is like that?
0404.
Just only you. That's mad. Oh, oh.
So we haven't got hands. You got hands.
Yeah. What day and month?
11/11.
Jeez! That's my lucky number. Unfortunately, I'm 1106, but 1111 is you're blessed, bro. What word are you gonna throw at us? Resolution. No.
I mean, there's a blurb that has the word resolution, but that's not a poem.
That's one of my go-to songs for Aaliyah.
Yep, that came into my head too.
100%. So, speaking about Aaliyah, is there any Aaliyah fans? Okay. There's bare hands. Now I don't know how to now reduce the hands. All right. Do you have a favorite song by Aaliyah? Think of it.
More Than a Woman.
Okay.
4 page.
Who agrees with More Than a Woman?
4 page. 4 page.
So 2 people agree with More Than a Woman.
Nah, 4 page later.
Nah. He picked this. I ain't gonna. 90s raise his hand first, and then you get the next intermission. 90s. What word are you gonna go? Ocean.
I doubt it.
Prep your words.
Nope. Next.
What were you thinking?
That's actually that's a really good shout.
Bro, how do you even spell that?
So that actually did not escape the publisher's scrutiny. So that one actually didn't make the final cut. Yeah.
Oh.
How are you wearing? I've seen Basquiat t-shirt on the cover and it's not. How is
The editing process is the editing process.
So what are you saying?
We need to find another word.
Yeah. I heard Aaliyah. Duncan, are you really an Aaliyah fan?
Listen, I like Aaliyah, but I'll just give you a little word. Letter.
Let's get learn.
There must be some learning in there.
We have a winner.
Oh, I was about to say I'm learning that there's not that many words in this book. But yeah, we have a winner.
I have a very limited vocabulary.
Yeah. How many results came up for learn actually?
1.
Wow.
Wait. There should be more. No, there's actually
Just 1.
No, there's 9. But
Oh, okay.
the top result is the one we're going to go. The top result is
Yeah,
the one
we'll
we'll go
simplify. All right, go on. What's the top result? What's the intermission?
with. So let's see what the intermission is. It's intermission 9 from the book.
Damn, and there's 9 of them.
There's, I think, 10. And there's also a trailer. The intermission is recognizing reflections in the mirror, adjusting accordingly. Pakistani, English, British, British Asian, British Pakistani, British Muslim, Anorka, Nitin Sawhney, Beyond Skin. And here's the poem, and it's called Home. Further and further from our home, economic migration mixed with quixotic adventures, driven by wanderlust. New frontiers, head west, or these days, in any direction. World reordered. Home. A word, a concept, increasingly abstract. We moor our boats wherever the tide is in, learn new languages, subvert them, make them our own. We're cultural mixologists, creating musical and celluloid cocktails, creating joy, refracting reality, and creating life.
Damn.
That's that.
We went through sometimes and landed home. So I think the first thing some people have great memory. I'm not one of those people. You know, you got friends that can listen to a song once and then they can recite the lyrics back to back. So if you're one of them people, for sometimes what words or phrase stood out, or what could you remember? Anyone, please help me.
Shit, there's a lot of goldfish here.
I know.
No elephants.
Okay, so out Pakistani. Well, from the intermission. From sometimes. Cool. Yeah, let's talk about Pakistan. Touch on that. What's your? Okay. Let's
Pakistani, I'm sorry.
I know. Do you know what? Okay. One thing I will say about this book, and I am so sorry, guys. Right? I hate history. That's the one subject in school, alongside English. I really hated. So I didn't know. And surprise, I'm a poet. I didn't know that Pakistan and India and all these countries were essentially one country to begin with until I read his book. So speaking on the word of learning, I did learn something from reading this book. So talk to me about your relationship with Pakistan.
Shit. No. It's been an evolving one over the years.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely one that's driven by certain things that sort of connect you to culture. And this is going to sound terrible, but I think one of the big connections is definitely cricket.
Oh, okay.
As a sport.
Yeah.
Even though we have one of the most erratic cricket teams in the world.
So I'm Zim in it. We used to have a great team. I don't even watch cricket no more.
When?
Okay. Let's. Sorry, continue your story. Let me not take this outside.
Sorry, I thought I just unsheathed my sword.
Let me not take this outside. But yeah. So cricket.
Yeah, no, cricket. I think it's one of those things where, like, growing up in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I've referenced it in the book. Like, you had Norman Tebbit, or if we're going to give him his due, Lord Tebbit, because he's now in the House of Lords. And he used to have this thing where he basically say in the 80s that, you know, if you cheer the cricket team of your parents rather than England when they're playing England, then you can't call yourself British. You're just a foreigner with a British passport. And so that's something that always kind of stuck with me. And I think for me, I remember in 1992, you'd get, it was still that time before we had Tony Blair and like a multicultural country where it was okay, acceptable in school, where kids would just they would just cuss you for being Pakistani. And then all of a sudden, you know, Pakistan come out of like nowhere. Again, I've written about it in the book. Like, they were a basket case in the 1992 World Cup. They should have been knocked out, and they somehow scraped through to the quarterfinals, annihilated New Zealand, and then went and walked all over England. And then you sort of like, yeah, the Empire does strike back, bitch. No, it does. And I think, you know, I remember another inflection point, like, I think in 2009, I remember again going to watch Pakistan. I think that time I went with my sister. She got me tickets. So we went together to go see Pakistan play Sri Lanka in the T20 World Cup final. And this is just how bad we are about our own faith or on our own team. Like, on a good day, they're world beaters. On a bad day, they're worse than a bunch of school kids with no discipline. Like, you have no idea who's going to turn up. They're very mercurial, very unpredictable, but very passionate. And I remember just on that day, I think some batsman scooped up the ball and basically one of the fielders caught it. And the fact that we caught a ball and didn't drop it, I was like, okay, we might just have a chance of winning. And then we went and won. So, you know, I think that connection, I think, again, in terms of relationship with the country, I think food.
Oh, yes.
But I think that's something that a lot of us in diaspora can relate to.
Oh, yeah.
For example, like Nomadic there, he took me to, I ate Somali food for the first time. And we basically had
Wait. Where did you go? Brother's Cafe?
You didn't invite me.
Where? Okay.
Hey, listen.
I like. Okay. Oh, sorry.
But no, it was great because, again, in my 40s, I've never eaten Somali food. It was just one big plate. We used our hands. We shared the food. And also, it was who knew that a banana tastes really, really good with. It was.
Wait, what do you lot call it?
No, but we had literally. We had like
okay.
slow cooked lamb
the-
falling off the bone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, just
Bro,
take some banana. It's a banana with
It's starting to make
lamb
me hungry, bro. But yeah.
and rice and spaghetti and chili sauce.
Alright, cool. Any other words? This guy is trying to make me hungry out here. But on that topic,
Not even more words. Let's talk more about it.
you did take me to the Pakistan restaurant.
Yeah, so I took you to Dawat in Tooting,
yeah.
which actually there's
Yeah.
and there is actually a poem dedicated to that restaurant.
Yeah.
In the book.
That's true. That's true.
It speaks to the heart, innit?
It does. In the belly. In the belly. Yeah. More the belly than the heart. But I mean, actually not the heart. Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, like when I think of like Pakistan, I definitely think passion and emotion, and close to zero logic.
Oh, okay.
We don't think with our heads; we definitely think with our hearts, which can be good on certain days, and other days it can just lead to absolute ruin. on and off the cricket field.
Don't get me started cricket. Like we've established my country ain't that good, so I'm trying to avoid it because
Okay.
if we talk about cricket, all you're gonna hear is crickets. But with regards to like Pakistan, and I was talking about the Asian countries around your neighboring countries. So recently, I've been addicted to Bollywood movies. Yeah, so that's been my new thing on Netflix, just looking for a Bollywood movie. So I saw RRR. So my favorite Bollywood is Three Idiots. That's my favorite.
Classic movie.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Bollywood movie if we're talking about that. But yeah, the one I recently saw was Super Deluxe, and that was Tamil. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think like all the other movies I'm seeing are either going to be from this region, and that region don't really do movies. So, do Pakistan have a movie?
We do
You know
have
what I mean?
we do have a movie industry, but it's
So I heard.
but that's
It's cold.
I heard there's a
It's-
movie that got banned.
right. So yeah, so Joyland's got banned
okay.
because I think it partly because of just I think it. Actually, who here's watched Joyland? Who can comment on it? Alia and Jay, do you want to take it in turn to Alia and then Jay?
Yeah, go on.
Let them speak.
Yeah, it's just the most moving movie I've seen. It shouldn't have been banned. What they say the movie's about is not what you're expecting. It takes you on a journey, and I don't want to ruin it. So yeah, it's just you just have to kind of once you see it, you understand that maybe
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking back at all.
Yeah. And have you?
I've seen it too, and I felt like I was watching a dream. It was
Wow.
really, and I think I didn't really recognise what I was expecting when I see it.
Yeah.
I feel like it feels like there's a transgender character in it, and the fact that that person is in it, I feel like that's making
Okay.
all the focus of the film.
Mm.
It's so much more than just about that person.
Yeah.
Even that relationship is sort of very expecting to be.
And that movie is called Joyland. Joyland? Is it Joyland?
Joyland, yeah.
Joyland. So I got two words from that. I got moving and dreamy. Do we have moving and dream? And they can be the next two poems we'll probably do.
We've got multiple results, so let's see what the other ones are.
I'll let you choose because can't see your screen, man.
Okay, so one of them actually comes up in sometimes, which we've already done, so we're not
Nice.
going to go there.
Skip that.
But let's go for this poem, which is actually one of the closing poems of the book, and it's called When I Write Enough.
Ooh.
And the intermission is really simple. It's called Playing an Infinite Game.
I like that.
Because healing and just figuring out things, it never, ever ends. Ever.
Ever.
Forever, ever, and ever, ever. So, when I write enough. Write enough Time elapses in concentric paths, starting wide from the largest diameter, hypnotically moving inwards. Pain, a teacher. The cold, an even better teacher. Lessons accumulate. I speak incessantly, yet remain guarded. An acquired operating system. I never write enough when impediments arise. Obstacles magnify in size. Fear, failing motor functions. My limbs have seen better days, but I reflect as I focus on my breath. Diaphragm swells. Expelled air shifts consciousness. Suffering is real, yet imagined. Life, full of dichotomies. Love on the spectrum, a Rubik's Cube, hard to decipher. Not unless I learn to write daily. 3 pages. Love takes unexpected shapes, but only when I learn to write enough.
Wow. So I'm going to throw this question out to the audience. Who here writes just school? Raise your hand if you write.
I write texts all the time, man.
Yeah, yeah. With those in your hands, which of you consider yourself writers? Oh, I love how they even got higher. Now,
That enthusiasm.
I
is just
know,
like,
right? It's like, yeah, I'm a writer.
some very limber people in there.
So we're gonna have a discussion, a sensible discussion. How do you quantify writing enough? Oh yes, you.
You will never write enough.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've told you that before as well.
This probably won't be the last time you tell me that either.
Some things you have written enough,
Yeah,
knowing that as well, you know.
yeah. At the back. You disagree with both of them.
I love a contrarian.
I love that.
Speak up.
Yes,
Speak up.
Come on. What? Did you? Mine says like
Yeah, but he's a
drawing
puppy.
blood out of stone. That I'm stealing that. Yes.
I don't know if anybody said this, but I don't think there is writing enough or not writing enough. There is just writing.
Oh, jeez. So she went in between all of you. I agree with that. Okay, yeah. Any more?
You write, and then you rewrite, and then you rewrite until you get to what you wanted to say. And that's
Okay. Yes.
So,
Okay, so I
the-
emphasize
the art of the redraft.
Yeah, that's hard, you know. I think that's really hard because I'll come back to you. But it's like, for example, uni would say you've got a word count, and you get that pressure of, if I wrote too much or too little. So I agree with that. Go on, Mel.
Writing is a never-ending shit. It only ends when you decide to squeeze.
Please repeat that.
Say it
Repeat.
again. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give your full attention to the bars. Match is about to drop.
I said it's a never-ending shit. It only is done when you decide to squeeze.
You hear that? It's never-ending shit. It only ends when you decide to squeeze, right? Right. As I always say,
This man needs more fibre in his diet.
just go with the saying that I always learn. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. But
How did we get here? And how can we steer back?
we're staring back. We're talking about writing is enough for you. Do you have a limit? What's enough for Haroon?
I think a bare minimum for me is sort of doing morning pages once a day. Like that's just 3 pages. It's like brushing your teeth, but for your spirit and your psyche. You just free write. And then everything else after that, ideally, if you can write stuff daily.
Yeah.
I mean, I try and write like one draft of like a poem or like a few paragraphs of prose a week, sometimes twice. I do think that habits matter.
Yeah.
If you can write daily, wicked, because it's a muscle.
Yeah.
And I think the more stuff you sort of write, the more you're facilitating something good will come out.
Yeah.
Because it is a numbers game. Like, I don't think you can wait for inspiration. I think you have to go and chase inspiration.
I agree with you.
And you chase it, ironically, by being sedentary, by sitting at a desk and just scribbling away and trying not to listen to the voice inside your head that goes, oh, that looks terrible. Because a lot of the times you're not going to be a good judge.
True.
It's always good to expose your writing to other people as well.
Yeah.
Like, a huge chunk of this book was written in community, in writing groups, where I'd write and I'd be like, yeah, I think I've finally been discovered. I can't write. I'm not a writer. And then you share it with other people and they're like, oh yeah, you know, this. And you're like,
Yeah.
I guess my subconscious might have been thinking that, but I was thinking, yeah, I'll take the win.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, I think there's always going to be self-doubt, but you've just got to keep writing. But for me, a daily practice definitely helps, because if you've got that creative, artistic inclination, your mind's going to be a very busy place.
Yeah.
And actually, what it basically is that you're turning a faucet on and you're just relieving the pressure. Because if it's all just trapped and untapped, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's benign.
That's true. No, I love that, man. So this book, the version you lot didn't pick, so it took 6 years, about six and a half.
Yeah.
When did you start having a routine to write? When did you start implementing that?
So 2017 to 2019, I would just write on a whim. Like, I was prolific, but it was very much, oh, this is in my head, or I feel really bad, I need to write it out, or I'm miserable, or in those years, probably very rarely, oh, I'm happy. It might not have ever happened in those 3 years, I think. But I think around about 2020, 2021, some friends who were writers, they started off like a weekly writing group. And I think that's when it became a routine.
Okay.
Because a lot of what came out of this book was basically someone plucking a random prompt, really random stuff, and then saying you've got 5 minutes, do a free write. So that was where like an intentional practice to write regularly came out. I mean, I knew I wanted to write a book all of those years. But I think with the pandemic, habits emerged. I think, you know, there was also bereavement and loss, promises made between people, and I mean, it sounds all cliched now, but like, a lot of us in the pandemic decided to just get a bit more focused and double down on things. But I'd say 2020, 2021, that's when pretty much, you know, a draft of something would get knocked out every week. And that's why, you know, when we sat down to do the book, there was about 118 poems, and then had to chop it in half. And then even going through that whole process, we probably added 10 poems and removed 20. And the stuff that even stayed, the book went through, even after all the master poems were like edited and redrafted with my primary editor, Chani. So basically we got to the publisher, Anne. She's also a very, very strict editor. So then with her, I think we went through about 30. We went through 30 drafts.
Damn.
There would be like 30-minute Zoom conversations, like just rereading poems, arguing about the rhythm of a line. There were times where I was just like, look, it's just easy. I don't want this in the book. She's like, no, it's going in the book, but we just haven't found a way to make it work. So also respect my publisher for pushing hard, pushing really, really hard, because I think I'm all for self-publishing.
Yeah.
I think people should take their creative destiny into their hands, But with this, the book, the shape that you find it in now, definitely owes a huge amount to Anne Holloway, the publisher at Big White Shed, who just kicked my ass for weeks and months.
You needed a beating, bro.
Pardon?
You needed that beating.
Well, it's actually funny because I was traveling in New York, and that's when I was too busy to like keep giving it edits. So when I got back, she's like, "Yeah, I know it was really quiet because you were away on holiday. I never heard from you." So I was like, "Yep, you had a break," and then we just furiously had to make the deadlines.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think daily's good, but I think that's on your own. But I think trying to find like a circle of people that you can do it with at least once a week, twice a week, whichever way, even if it's once a week and it's not once a day, just consistency, because things build up, you know, because really for the 3 years of like say 2020, 2021, 2022, that's what formed the spine of the book, not the first 3 years I was writing. A lot of that didn't make the cut, but you're still looking at about 40 drafts of poems per year. That adds up to just shy of 120. So it's just building up one bit at a time. Yeah. And it works different ways. Like there's a writer called Brian Koppelman who's like behind the show Billions, and he wrote Rounders. So his thing was he worked as a music executive.
Okay.
He would just write one page of a screenplay every morning before he went to work. So, you know, over 2 years, you've basically got a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't underestimate, like, it's that classic cliche of like, we overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time, but we underestimate what we can do consistently.
Yeah.
Over a longer amount of time. It's just,
Success is discipline.
yeah, and that's not particularly sexy, but it's true.
Yeah. But you're bringing sexy back.
I'll let you be that's for someone else to judge.
They can only judge if they buy the book.
Yeah, there's a price of entry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love like how you've done bite size and then pick with regards to that. So I was gonna say, in terms of
So what was that
you mentioned you write sitting at a desk.
Sitting at a desk, out in the park, lying
I was gonna
down.
ask, what's the most random place you've written?
The most random place I've written was sitting on the floor across the tracks.
Whoa. Is it like running tracks, train tracks?
No. Across the Tracks, the music festival.
Oh, so it's not just me who had the same thought. All right, cool. I've never been. I don't know where it is.
Sorry to unnecessarily like worry people.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Is that poem that you wrote in this book?
No, didn't make the cut for this.
Okay.
Maybe for the next one.
How many do you wanna do? Do you wanna do one more?
Let's do one more.
One
and
more.
We'll chat about it.
Cool.
And then we'll have an intermission.
And we'll have an intermission, guys.
Which will be underpinned by another playlist.
For mind them like me that don't know what intermission means, it means a break. Yeah? So I'm trying to think, how am I gonna get the last? This is the golden poem before we go for intermission. Who here has written a book? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jody wants to know if a play counts. It's a completed work, so I'd say yes.
Yes. So we've got unpublished books, published books, plays. What would you want to hear, Haroon? Do you want to hear a play, an unpublished book?
Let's go for the playwrights, because we haven't given them any love yet.
Playwrights.
Let's give the playwrights.
Playwrights.
So if you're a playwright, keep your hands up, and we'll take suggestions.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
we've got Jody, we've got Ruby, and we've got Gularana.
Okay. I am gonna give you all a chance to talk. I'm gonna ask you to pick a word that best describes the process of writing a play. You can take a couple of seconds. This is what I need to do. put that down.
The fact that Jodie's even thinking.
Damn.
There's so many words that come to mind.
Yeah, what's the first? Okay.
Choose.
So you're overthinking, right? There's,
Of course, I'm a writer.
yeah. Okay. So I learned something recently that there's like 3 ways that we process things. The first will be logic, so it'll be how you think. Then the next will be your heart, that's your emotions. And then the third one is your guts, that's your intuition. So this question is to do with your intuition. I ain't got time to hear your emotions. I ain't got time to go for your logic. So Jodie, 3, 2, 1. What word comes to mind? First word. Art. Art in general. Wait. Art in general. I love that. Art is a good one. Now I'm going back to you. 3, 2, 1 in yellow. Fire. Woo! Chaos. So we got fire, chaos, and art. Damn.
Which one did we go for? Which one did we go for first?
Should we leave it for the audience to pick?
Okay, pick. No, wait. Put each word out.
Okay,
let it make noise
okay.
to make it fit.
Exhibit J. Art. Wow. Sorry, sorry, Jodie. You're eliminated. So we only have 2 options now, guys. So
we may still need to come back to it if they don't.
yeah, we might. So to make this, I don't want to be rude. So in yellow, what's your name? Ruby. And next to Ruby? Gularana. Did I say it correct? Gularana and Ruby. So exhibit R, Ruby, is fire. All in favor for fire? Okay. All in favor for exhibit J, chaos? G, chaos? Oh, that was not weak. Okay. Fire! Chaos! Fire! Chaos! Chaos!
It's really like down the middle, isn't
It's
it?
literally down in the middle. It's up to you. Which one do you wanna?
Fire will be in there.
I think which one has the most results? Let's go with that. Oh, actually, no, the least. Let's go with the least. Which one has, or even comes up?
Fire has no hits, but chaos
Wow.
does.
Damn, you've gone on fire.
I was wrong.
It's intermission 7.
Oh, lucky number 7.
Reparenting, self-love, self-discovery, autism, ADHD, integration, a flywheel operating in perpetuity, God willing.
Nice.
So the poem is called Sisyphus.
What does that mean?
Sisyphus. Do you want to talk about mythology?
Okay, so I like that because he told me mythology. I ain't gonna lie. I even looked. Do you even know how to spell this word? I'll spell it for you.
This is why we pay proofreaders.
It's SISY fuss. FUS.
No, PHUS.
That's what I meant.
I like
PHUS.
this story.
Is that the? It's like. It's part man, part something. Is that it?
Right. If anyone here is a teacher who wants to explain
Who
it.
wants to join? I have no idea what syphilis is.
Okay, Jamal.
Syphilis?
Let's. Wait.
Not mythology, actual things.
Hey,
Okay, wait. Hey, Jamal.
Joe.
Talk to us about Sisyphus.
There once was a man named Sisyphus
Oh,
who got in a bit of trouble.
yes.
And to cut a long story short, he was punished to roll a big rock up a hill. Every time he would get up the hill, the rock would be like, bye Felicia. And then it would roll itself down to the bottom of the hill. And then Sisyphus would be like, all right, fine. And then he'd have to go down the hill and then push the rock back up again. He had to do that forever.
Oh, that mythology. I thought you were talking about creatures and ish. Oh, my bad. But I love that.
So let's go. On my way, stumbling some days, cruising on others. Often hard to differentiate when at the center of chaos. Either way, it's forward movement, one sunrise at a time. Rear view mirror smashed deliberately. Viewfinder pointed firmly upwards, onwards. Steep gradient requires momentum. Fuck Sisyphus.
I agree with the last sentence because that word gave me so much grief.
What, syphilis?
Yes, syphilis.
Lord.
Let's
Someone bring a bucket of ice.
let's unpack that. What's the thought behind the whole poem, the title, the way you layered it? Because there's so many layers in how you write your poems. They're very short, if you haven't realized, but they're so heavy. So let's try unpack this. What were you thinking? What were your thoughts with this one?
Well, I mean, I wasn't. I was given 5 minutes and I was told I had to turn up with something
Oh.
on Clubhouse.
Oh. I didn't even know you had Clubhouse.
Dude, if Clubhouse is... I can't believe I didn't give a shout out to Clubhouse at the end of the book, because literally the Clubhouse rewrites, the whole book is basically...
That's mad, I didn't know this.
The foundation was it was free writes, and then there was like just months of editing and redrafting. So, you know, the throwing of clay on the kiln was done there.
Yeah.
And then all of the shaping and all of that was done offline.
Yeah, 5 minutes. You wrote this in 5 minutes.
Pretty much every poem, the first draft was written in 5 minutes in this book. And some of them are 2 pages, but some of them are like just 10 lines. But it's whatever came. But there's a lot of editing afterwards. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like I believe in the editing process.
No, I believe you.
What's that? Speak up.
She said she can vouch for that. There's a lot of editing involved.
Well, I think that question, can I answer that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sure.
Go on, Charlotte.
Why not?
from what I remember, I think it was more about making the language more like that process of. So when you get to the end, so exactly the way that he's expressed it, you're supposed to have that sense of like, forget it. Like just the process, everything is just, yeah. All of that is kind of encapsulated in the, obviously you'll see it when it's written.
Yeah. Because I can see it written, yeah.
The way that it's presented. So when you get to that particular poem, just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, 100%. Like literally, you can see it is this tiny. But like I said, there's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
I can see the layers. And you're hearing the layers as well. So I think that's what's nice about how you write, performance, and how it looks and how it feels when you hear it changes your mind essentially. So I appreciate
So I think
that.
what was going through my mind was, so this chapter, given like the intermission, talks about things like autism and ADHD. Basically, this poem was just letting that thought process run wild. So I think between, albeit having like super late diagnosis, like I was 39 when I at least got given an explanation as to why I had a very quirky and slightly chaotic mind. And I think this chapter in general and the poems are about coming to terms with the fact that, okay, if my mind doesn't work in a linear way, rather than sort of flogging myself about it, I've got to find a way to create my own space in life and in the world where I can sort of operate, and it's okay to just operate the way I do. But also a lot of that falls in line with, again, being a hip hop fan. I think while I'm not someone who ever sort of freestyled a lot growing up, the free writes are kind of my version of like being a freestyler.
I love that.
But also, and I think, you know, the owner of the venue, Jack, is at the back. Let's quickly have a little shout out, Jack.
I think look at the guy with the cap.
Yeah, I think also for me, I mean, make some noise if you're a fan of MF Doom.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Has anyone got like a favourite line or a lyric that they might remember that they want to just...
Dick Dastardly and Muttley with slick laughter. Gunfight in the head, the mixmaster. ICE Cole.
So I mean, yeah, like MF Doom is just the most random.
Very.
Like he's random, but he'll come up with lines like, you know, he'll talk about friendship and go, oh, you know, a lot of people enter into relationships, you know, thinking they're going to be codependent, but more often than not, they end up codefendants. Like just really weird shit like that you, like a normal person wouldn't think. Like he's like a reincarnation of Kool Keith from Ultramagnetic MCs. Like his mind's a different way. And so, yeah, just a lot of those different influences. Like for me, it was just about sort of saying that I think I could relate to the Sisyphus thing, which is like, I think every day feels a little bit like Groundhog Day. No matter how good you end the day, you start at zero, your brain is absolute chaos, and it's like, shit, I need to like go for a walk, I need to eat something, preferably not processed, so that your brain can start to actually just adjust from the ADHD chaos into being able to doing something that day. So that's kind of where, but again, I think for me, I take a lot of random, for me, lots of different random references somehow make sense.
Yeah.
But if you're like a friend of mine, or if you even happen to be my partner, then, you know, you have to sort of get used to the fact that there is a lot of, I'll connect just different dots.
Yeah.
I think that poem is about basically just taking little disparate things and just connecting the dots into my own little picture.
Nice.
So that's that.
Cool. Okay. So, we just had our intermission. You've touched upon a few intermissions. And what we're going to do next is something different again. Would you want to explain the idea? We went backwards and forwards about this so many times.
There was a lot of debating over voice notes, WhatsApp, phone calls,
face to face.
And you do sometimes call me really late.
I mean, like 10 p.m. is not late.
You've called me later.
Wow.
Exposure. That's Robert's fault.
You're online.
Well, I'm not getting these phone calls.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, I was washing dishes anyway.
Alright, that's fine. Let's not. You're exposing me out here, bro. That was just between me and you. So what we are gonna do is something different. As you saw on the leaflets that are around you, we have some special guests. There's a lot about why those special guests. There's a lot about what they're gonna bring to it. But just explain what the special guests are gonna do.
Okay.
And then I'll ease into it.
So, even though at the beginning you were saying that the night is all about me,
which it is.
I'm an argumentative person, so I'll debate that. For me, the star was the text, the words in the book. And what I was really interested in is that over the last few years, I've made a lot of friends, I've admired a lot of creatives. I wanted to see if I cherry-picked a few, what would happen if I basically gave them an early copy of the book and they found a poem that resonated with them and they would write a response poem. It could be inspired, it could even be a middle finger going, you know what, I don't agree with the shit you say, Haroon, and I'm going to put it into words. I mean, I'm always here for the violence. But whether anyone chose that or if people went down the more meek path, I think there is one poet I won't name. We'll know when they're, because I'm not going to give away the gender.
Yes.
I'm not going to reveal that, but when that person Like that person went in with fire, but everyone went in with something a little different. Some people shared what they did, some people haven't. So I'll be experiencing this for the first time like you.
Yep.
But they're going to come and take it in turns, and they're going to read something that they wrote that was in response to something that was in the book.
Yeah.
Because I thought it's interesting to see, like there's, my partner says there's like this, my partner's a teacher, and she said that there's this kind of concept of, you know, the reader is the author. Like the reader gets to interpret. So I thought what would happen if you actually get the reader interpreting, but then that reader is also a writer.
I like that.
And someone who isn't shy to get in front of people. And as we've seen in our last few years that we've known each other on the poetry scene, there's some people who are absolutely not shy to express themselves, to share their gifts, and just to put themselves out there. However, in the interest of just being efficient, we will start with someone who's already sitting in the chair.
Hot spot!
You happen to be here.
You know what they say? Leave the best for first, right? You know?
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it goes.
So yeah, never heard it. So
sounds very unfamiliar.
As the book is titled Press Play, and if you haven't realized, I have had a lot of conversations about movies. So there's an iconic movie which the younger generation only know as a meme.
How old are you? Let's just contextualize younger. How old are you?
Oh, I'm a baby. I'm a 90s baby. I'm a 90s baby.
Power Rangers.
All of that.
Special shout out to Woodsy, the author of 90s Baby, which is a famous poem on the circuit that references all the things that we love from the 90s.
I love. And shout out to 90s Baby.
How many people here are 90s babies?
Oh, okay.
Anything in
80s babies? Woo! No shame.
Wait,
70s?
70s babies.
Jeez! That 70s show.
Bus passes soon come.
Yeah. Any 60s? Oh yeah. Oh yes.
We have a winner.
Yes. Now, no shame. What do they call 2000s? Do you call them 2000s babies?
Naughties.
Is that why they call it naughties? They're not even okay. Naughties. No offense, naughties. Any naughties? Oh. No, that's 90s.
No, because they grew up in the noughties.
Oh, yeah, true.
So basically, you're the cherub of the bunch today.
Oh, okay. You're fair. So speaking about 90s, one of the iconic movie that I love that is now a meme is Friday. Damn! So I was reading his book and I had a damn moment as I was reading it, right? And then to top it off, me and you speak a lot. And we speak about a particular artist on my side.
Oh, is it the one that I talk about?
Damn! K-Dot, the one and only K-Dot. So my favorite artist is K-Dot. He's inspired by hip hop. I'm inspired by hip hop. So a lot of artists before Kendrick, sure, but I feel like when Kendrick came to the scene for me 2010, that's when I was like, okay, there's a young person who's doing what the OGs are doing.
Favorite album by him?
Because I will always say this, guys. Like, look. If we're talking about creativity, layers upon layers, is to pimp. If we're talking about me vibing, it's Section 80, because that was my first album. I fuck with Section 80, so apologies. It's not, but I take it like an album. Because no, it's not. It's a mixtape, but it's a mixtape. Fair. Okay, if we're talking album, then I take it like an album. Like there's, it's on Spotify. It's an album.
I personally think it's an album.
Yeah. So. Okay. I need translation of what a mixtape is and everything. But I hear what you're saying. Because
That's where you're really showing your age.
Technically, his technical album is Good Kid, Mad City. That was his first album. I agree with that. So that one bangs as well. I mean, bopping. Look, we can talk about Kendrick, but we're not here for that.
We have a timeline we need to hit.
So
we're running behind.
With Kendrick, I then came to the idea that I had a damn moment. And he has a line in this poem where you say everything has an expiration date.
Yeah, everything has an expiration date.
And I was like, damn, because it really does. And this is from his poem called Midlife Crisis. And my response is, third life crisis reflection again. This is the reflection of self-love. Kuvisas wakawoma. A prime number. An optimist age of an absurd life crisis. Even an unctuous tongue can't lie on the stand. Plan king under bridges of silky quicksand. And you know, one of your poems, you love to breathe in your poem. So everyone, could you join me and inhale? Exhale. One more time. Kufema. An expensive gift tipping the scales of hell to propel chaste pavements of tequila. Adele on top of laps. Preparing marathons, mind mapping traps, pressing bars that go to space, shifting tabs from goods to kids, boo, deleting controlled alternatives, shutting ish down, legendary. My medullary bone marrow has thorns. Emotions guide my pen, allowing my pain to not drain my energy as I remain in motion. The prism of my mind imprisoned my prime, leaking greasy rhymes, dirigubadara for my crimes. Do you know Wanduza, Zua, Nezua, pulling me from the sunken place, leveling up the me, Akafa, Nezuro. Mazuano are falling in love, sinking into the future. Action without thinking will leave you with failure. Kusaita Chinu, Kuita Chinu. This is the part and the chapter where I wake up and face reality. Did I bring fire?
I like the fact that you use your trademark of using Shona, which is...
Shona was activated.
Yeah, Shona was active. Shona
Hundreds.
is the language spoken in Zimbabwe, and you're always repping your roots in Zimbabwe.
You have to.
So, you know, I would have felt shortchanged if you hadn't done... No, I would have. I would want a refund. I would pull out the receipts. You know, I'd take you to small claims court.
Okay.
I'm that petty.
Yeah. At least you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you saved me some admin this year, so thank you. But I think for me, I think we're going to have to link up outside of this.
Yes.
And for me to read it, write it, and just chop it up and really sort of soak it up.
I really did enjoy writing it. Yeah, man, it was interesting because when I read your poem, I was like, what age do people have a midlife crisis? You know, and I think like everyone always says you get a midlife crisis at a particular age. The same way they say you should get married at this age, you should do this at that age. But in life, you know, as we're saying about writing enough, you shouldn't have limits to certain things. So
and I'm curious because you called it a third life crisis.
yes.
Was that in response to the fact that, so I actually did 2 midlife crisis poems, because I had one when I was 40 and I had one when I was 41. And the second one's literally called Midlife Crisis Redo. So it literally came back like a boomerang.
Yeah.
And claimed me second year in a row. I can attest to the fact that it hasn't happened this year. So hopefully that hex has been lifted.
Yeah.
But given that there were 2 midlife crises, is that what influenced you calling it a third life?
So
or is that a coincidence?
I love that. So I'm sometimes very intentional. I wanted to do both poems, but I only went with the first one. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm turning 30 next year. So I was like, okay, if we're talking about like 40s is midlife, so 30s, what percentage is that? So I was like, oh, let's just round it up and say it's
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I was like, I'm crazy, I'm mad.
You like suffering.
I'm such a mad person. And then I was like, oh,
Masochist.
this is now the poem that never made the book, that should have been in the book, but Haroon never knew it should have been in the book. So the third life crisis has been added to the book only at this particular event. So hence the title Third Life.
You can give me a copy and I'll staple it to my copies.
Yes, and 3 is a magic number. So I went with that. That's the title. But it is, I would say, a deflection from midlife crisis. Hence, I say third life crisis deflection again as the first line.
You have time on your side. I don't.
Of course. So yeah, speaking about time, I would love to also allow you to hear a different voice. Now, everyone always says like, you have a running order, you know, on who performs, blah, 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 blah. But like I said, today is all about this book, Press Play. So as an audience, you're going to get to press play of what movie you want to hear, right? So I'm gonna give you some options. What genre do you wanna pick actually? Or should I just give all the options?
Just give them options.
We'll give you all the
something's
options.
gonna resonate harder and then that
Okay.
will help us select the next poet.
So, first option, has anyone, the person who does know, just don't flinch, don't respond. I'm trying to get other people that don't know. Has anyone seen the movie called A Prophet?
French movie.
French movie. Just one person?
I'm sure my sister's
2?
seen it. But
3?
she doesn't know.
Damn. I want to watch it. So
It's on my to-watch list.
it's on, okay, I'm putting on my to-watch list. Interesting. Now, has anyone seen Rush Hour? Okay. So this is, I was, no more crickets. You know I hate cricket.
Okay.
So yes, that's good. Rush Hour, we got Rush Hour. Okay, we've got some response to that. Has anyone jogged upstairs, like a flight of stairs, and just started, you know, shadowboxing because you felt good after watching Rocky? Anyone seen Rocky?
Yeah.
Okay, so which one is a good question? We're going for the OG Rocky. I didn't say Rocky 2. I didn't say Rocky 3.
Didn't even say Balboa.
I'm not even gonna go to Creed. Let's stick to Rocky, okay? And the next one is Wowza, Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street, I like that. You lot are thieves. And lastly, we got The Matrix. Okay, so A Prophet, only 3-4 people know. No offense, but I'm pretty sure it's a good movie. I'm pretty sure it's a good movie. Rush Hour, Rocky, Wolf of Wall Street, and The Matrix. These are your 5 options.
The Wolf of Wall Street. The Matrix.
Damn.
A choice has been made. How do we know each other?
I've never seen you before in my life. Sorry, what's going on?
I got eared on my own launch night, and it's been caught on camera.
I've met Haroon quite a while ago. I feel like it was like 2019, 2020 at BYOB, when I sort of first started forming and going to nights and everything. I think that's where we first met. And then I feel like in the last year or so, we keep seeing each other a lot at different events, specifically around sort of South Asian, Muslim heritage, nights that celebrate Muslim artistry and sort of the South Asian experience, and that's been really wonderful. Yeah.
And so, what was the poem that sort of grabbed you? Any lines or any things? And then share with us what your response is.
I've been completely blown away by this collection, and if you guys haven't read it yet, definitely read it. So excellent. I've actually made some notes because there was too many lines that I just read. I was like, wow, like just to sort of give you guys some insight. And in terms of themes, this collection focuses on so many different themes. Haroon speaks about life, mortality, death, neurodivergence, mental health, identity, culture, migration, stories of migration, his own personal stories. He also weaves in sort of intergenerational, experience with his grandfather and with his own family. He speaks about marriage, relationships. He wrote a poem called Love, Long Distance Parenting, and the line that really stuck out to me was, "They haven't yet learned to accept breadcrumbs. They want nothing but the whole loaf." And I just thought, wow, like what a line. And I've got a piece, that from a few years ago, which is all about crumbs and accepting crumbs. I think, it's just gorgeous. And I think there's a lot of poems where you speak about food and sort of the importance of food in sort of love language and sort of showing your love. I love the poem Eggs, which talks about your relationship with your daughter, talking about omelets and pancakes and spending that quality time with them. And you say, "My daughter's reciprocity, a balm that I reapply." And it's just about that love that you show each other and how that's reciprocated. You also talk a lot about mortality, and you wrote, in Time After Time, you wrote, "Death is a reminder of the impermanence, and the fact that on the clock, the second hand won't unwind."
Yeah, I was listening to Cyndi Lauper and I wrote that, and I was like, right, that's going in.
I thought that was really beautiful. And also, you sort of write on trauma and grief, but without necessarily naming it directly in some ways. And you speak about, you say grief and love, in the poem When We Move, you write, "Grief, love, neither are linear, and the fact that they're so similar in a lot of ways.
Each one casting bewitching silhouettes.
Exactly. You continually refer to your own mental health and your own sort of experience of your mind and how beautiful and rich that is. And you often talk about 299 directions in which your mind goes, and you talk about it as ricocheting, and the idea that you might want to be doing something, but you have 299 different.
It's like having
going on in your head.
Web browser tabs.
Yeah.
Just
and
all the tabs open.
I love this line: "Synaptic ricochets in 299 directions." You come back to it in the poem My Frayed Autistic Heart, where you speak about 299 thoughts splintered, cognitive kaleidoscope. I thought that was really, really rich and beautiful. And just another line that I just want to touch upon: "Real time unfurls like Dead Sea Scrolls." And I just thought that was really gorgeous. There's so much more that I could talk about, but I decided to respond to Trailer, just because
interesting.
I felt like it was.
Talk about trailers so that people have a little bit of context.
So trailer is like the opening poem in this book, and it sort of gives you like images and ideas that encapsulate Harun's life with just words, right? And I noticed that in a lot of your poems, there's a lot of list poems as well.
That has been highlighted.
But I feel like that was really interesting because I've definitely done my share of list poems, but recently I write more sort of prose or sort of different styles. But
because I don't purposely make list poems. So I remember being in a class run by Rachel Long, who's a published poet, you should check out, and a poetry teacher. And she described it as you're like a boxer that you jab and then you run there and then you jab from another side. Because I think a lot of the times I'm not trying to basically sit and purposefully write a list poem. A lot of the times it's just there's so much chaos inside.
Right.
But when someone has cornered me in a writing session and says you have to write and there's a set amount of time, it's literally going, okay, I need one less thing ricocheting in my head, because once it goes on the page, it has a subtractive effect. It's like, okay, the more that goes there, the less it's bouncing around. I can reach a point where maybe there's less chaos.
But I feel like I love the fact that in your list poems, you gain so much just from the specific and particular words that you use, that you select.
But I like juxtaposing different things.
Right, and you sort of, but as you're reading it, it's really like reading his train of thought and following his train of thought and how it sort of goes from one thing to the next. And it's very logical, actually. It's very sequential. So I tried to respond to that piece. Born at 27 weeks, 27th March, spring of 95. Baba is in Bangladesh. He receives a call, a baby girl has been born, 3 months premature, incubated, inundated with love, care, affection, protected, something precious, a delicate flower to be patient with. Zahra Layla means rose in the night, rising, growing, slower, growing into life. 0 to 5, so much love, showered with gift and God's word read over me. 3 siblings born in the years before me, my elders, my tribe, my first best friends. 4th child, I was their baby, but I thought of them as peers. Peering into the future, age 7, my little sister is born. I write a note to my teacher in gold felt tip. I am ecstatic at the promise of my blood reaching beyond me. Age 10, my baby brother is born, Mehdi, and my nest is complete. 6 kids, working parents, the mayhem of our home, held together with PVA glue and cellophane. Fast forward, teenage years hold manic summers, winter's oppressive nights, first major depressive episode. I wrap my headscarf around my neck and tug hard. I want to disappear. I swim through the waters of fear and doubt. I graduate with an upper second class honours in history. I meet the love of my life, Islamic nikah. I marry the love of my life. He is, in fact, a mirage, a myth. I sleep with trauma through the next part. 5 years later, I sit alone in bed, staring at the ceiling, inundated with thought. Who am I? All the love afforded to me at birth did not seep into my skin. It is absent, vacant, vacuum, crumbling self-esteem. Picking up the pen, I carve my story into the pages of my notebook. Many long nights and train journeys hold my thoughts hostage. I release them into the expanse. Open mic nights, journeying through London, Wembley, Kensington, Rumi's Cave, South London, unfamiliar train stops. Finding myself again, I am born and reborn.
Yeah, no, what I loved about that is it has your sort of signature style of being very, very confessional and very vulnerable, but at the same time it's different to your style in terms of like rhythm and pacing. Like it did feel like you actually mirrored that kind of staccato list. Can we hear it one more time for Zara, please? Rush Hour and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Rush Hour.
For the people who don't know, tell them who you are.
Yes.
Wow, you just, like, the register just went like...
Of course. I go by nomadic Libah. It means wandering lion. Libah means lion in Somali, and nomad is a wanderer. And my actual name's Ali. Hey. Ooh.
So what did you choose? What resonated? Why have you gone for the response that you have gone?
Ironically, we started with the first poem from the book, right?
Press play to let the movie begin.
And Zara picked the trailer. I picked one of the poems near the end of the book called They Burned All the Books.
Which I'll be doing as the closing poem.
Ooh!
Ooh, it's done now.
It's getting spicy. And the reason why I chose this poem is because the title stuck out to me when I was going through, what's that page called where you see all the titles? Contents page, yeah. When I was reading the contents page, I was like, okay, let me read all the contents and see which one just sticks out. When I saw They Burned All the Books, I was like, now you've really piqued my interest. What do you mean by this? And then after reading the piece, there were certain points that stuck out to me. For instance, the use of repetition, the terminology, and the introspection within life is what really I appreciated from the piece. And so I wrote a response poem to They Burned All the Books called Unwritten Knowledge. Thoughts are ethereal. They live beyond known planes. Knowledge written may be destroyed, but memories live past moments. Lineage lives on as legacy, passed down through genetic memory. The inner reflects the outer. The polarity within reality is so surreal. Pockets of peace live past pain. Hardship builds the greatest of restraints. Practice makes improvement to the point an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Love is a force of life that revitalizes to the point you feel most alive, so love fully. Embrace the unknown, to push past the obscurity it brings to form new beginnings. Travel across paradigms and dimensions of thought, to engage in cultured discourse, for momentum builds both over time and space. Alexandria's library pales in comparison to the possibilities that live within a free mind. Ooh. So, if words widen the world, where would sentences take you?
Can you say that again, please? Reload.
So if words widen the world, where would sentences take you? Seeds of thoughts grow into trees of knowledge. To write pages poised in your presence, to later be retold as tales of olds. So, luqadayda hooyo waxaan ku oradaa wax maqan ma jiraan hadda xisaabta la socotid.
Thank you. Let's hear it for Nomadic.
Damn! What do we have? We've got Matrix, done.
Done.
Rush Hour, done. We've got Free, A Prophet, Wolf of Wall Street, and Rotted. I still didn't even get the chance to even do the
All right, let's call it Prophet.
A prophet, a prophet, a prophet. May the prophet
stand.
He's already standing. Come on, come on. rate that.
If you like crime films, watch A Prophet. It's one of the best films ever made. It's one of the films I've just continuously watched back and forth. Have you watched it?
Shamefully no, despite the fact it's been recommended by like countless people in my life.
It's so good. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant film. Yeah, whatever. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we met pre-pandemic.
Mate, we met years ago. I think I was thinking about it. Like
We were different people back then.
Oh hell yeah! Like I remember the conversation we had about the 3 Ps. Basically, I think that was like because I think it was 2018, 2017 when.
Not 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, 19, and I don't know. We didn't even know each other. We just knew of each other, but it's only after pandemic where we actually started to become friends afterwards, which I'm still grateful for, man. It's been amazing.
Same here.
Yeah, really, really cool. But yeah, me and you, I think recently has been insane because I feel like I've seen not only your journey as a performer, but also your journey as a writer. And we talk about this all the time. We talk about how
because they are two very different things.
Oh, definitely, definitely, and especially you warming into a performer and then reading your entire life basically has been absolutely amazing. Especially me as a film fan, like watching you do the intermission. I feel like no one's ever done that before in terms of having an intermission, the trailer, and almost bringing the film references into it. And the vulnerability you demonstrated in this book is absolutely powerful, I must say.
Thank you.
No, seriously, it's really fun. Buy it basically. Buy the book.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was it that grabbed you? Like, what was the poem that hooked you, that compelled you to pick up your pen? Because we've talked a lot on and off about changing directions creatively.
Yeah.
You've talked sometimes about potentially retiring from poetry. It happens, people say it, but given that at the point that I sort of approached you, you were potentially taking a break, and you answered the call, which I'm really grateful for, because I've also, from the time that we met, I've really enjoyed seeing your evolution as a writer and a performer. I think you've become a really accomplished storyteller, but an exceptionally confident performer. Like, there's few people who can stand on stage and just hold court like you do and just have people hanging on every word.
I appreciate you saying
So, like, what was the thing that made you, what's the poem that you're responding to?
It's
and
funny,
why?
It's funny because we're talking about this, is, you know, talking about where you want to go as in terms of direction. So the one for me was like Sliding Doors.
Ooh, and what grabbed you there? Because I know why I wrote it, and I can go into it.
I mean, the thing is some of the language is amazing, like undiagnosed dopamine dips. And you know me, as someone who likes alliteration, it's amazing. But it's also the fact that when you think about life, you think about the moments that the decisions that you have to make in certain moments. And you can tell it's based on love, but for me, it really resonated for me in terms of the decisions that I didn't make, basically, or that I could have made. And from other decisions that I made, I was just like, you know what, like, and especially the last line when you talk about like MPC, what the MPC gathers dust, basically. And almost like...
Which is like it's a music production centre, it's like a
Yeah.
piece of hardware you make music on.
And it resonated with me in terms of just like, yeah, it's just that moment, especially in the beginning of the book. So I ended up writing, I kept it the same title, and it's called Sliding Doors, which is, it resonated with me in terms of all the decisions that I had to make. So here, the daytime is for old people, and the nighttime is for the youth. The English Riviera is postcard picked on affluent clouds, drugs are clouding my anxiety. Here, the alcohol is free, and it's my currency. Exchanging the booze for food from the kitchen, a prominent offer is rejected via the phone. A favor is only offered once from the big smoke, and I was loyal to the business, and then they robbed our tips too. Weekday is for old people and Friday is for the youth. Smoking hash on a John Lewis roof on night shifts, my body clock is a schizophrenic time lapse. Days off spent working, holidays spent speaking, nightmares of a uni gown I only wore once, and there's no pictures on the wall. Hoping to wake up before the kids get home for school free. My 25th birthday. My own place, finally, in the dusk of youth, my old neighbours upstairs attend. Share birthdays between us, sipping independence from a trophy taped together. Friendship groups collided. Gin and conversations is our weapon of choice. A letter signed by the entire street arrives days later and said, please keep the noise down, this isn't Gin Alley. 4, I'm older now, thinking wisdom is wasted on the elderly. Thank you.
I'm going to make a choice. We're going to go for Wolf of Wall Street.
So some people know me, some people don't. I go by Duncan, but also Duncan the Sage. And funny enough, yeah, we actually met last year for the first time.
It's not been a long...
No, not really.
Not at all.
No. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the
What
first
did we bond over?
I know, you know what it is? I met you last year at Mind of a Man, where it was at Brixton. And I remember you performing there first time. Like, I was very new, and I was like, wow, this guy's got energy. And I remember the second time I saw you was...
Yeah, I had my Weetabix on the day.
Don't worry, trust me, Weetabix, I know the feeling. And I remember seeing you again at Words and Verses, and then we started connecting. Funny enough, yeah, it's only this year we started vibing each other when we were at Jay's events, which is Cajun College, which I recommend people go there. It's a vibe.
Make noise for JK.
JK.
Where's JK?
Where is he? No one. Can I get a wave? But yeah, and then we started talking, and then we started vibing, and we realized the passion we love for music, especially hip hop. Like, and literally, you and I were going back and forth with hip hop as well, like Wu-Tang Clan, Outkast. And I was reading a poem, it's just like, I was looking at it and I was thinking, wow, like there's so many good gems, but it's hard for me to pick one. But there's one poem that stuck with me. And I remember I was listening to the Outkast, The Love Below, literally, which is one of my favorite Outkast albums. And
it is an Outkast album.
It is, yeah.
We're not going to argue, even though it's Andre 3000.
No, it's still an Outkast album. Let's get the reference right. But it was one poem I liked here, and it stuck to me in a way. Like, especially, which was Sliding Doors, funny enough. Sliding Doors.
Repeat offender.
Yeah, it was a good poem because there was a line that said, like, no more gaslighting. And I thought, ooh, okay, that got my attention. But then also your journey as well. Like saying no more buses, no more rides off home. It was like a journey that was interesting, just learning from you. And also, like, we were also book lovers as well. So it was like very, very interesting. It goes something like this. Some say London is horrible, and some say it's home. I know where my heart is, but I'm afraid to open the door to it. I lost the key, but not my faith in God. Am I speaking too much? I wish my heart could talk, so you can listen to it sing. I wish I could love, and I wish I was not cursed by love. Oh well, maybe one day I'll find the key and open my heart. Only time will tell. I guess I have to listen then. When I find the key, will my heart be alive or be a dead with broken dreams? Funny enough, yeah, when you told me about the poem Sliding Doors, it was a reference from a movie you told me, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Gwyneth Paltrow movie with, I think, John Hannah in it.
I think I might have to add this to my watch list now.
It's not an exceptional movie, I'm going to be really honest, it's not like going to blow you away, but I like the concept because in the poem there are just some very, very key inflection points, whether it's meeting someone I love or meeting a close friend who impacted my life who's now deceased, or even certain things I can't go into, which is certain people potentially might have exited my life, but they actually stayed in my life. And so it was just flipping everything and inversing everything and going, okay, what if I hadn't met this person? Or what if this person exited instead of staying? So yeah, it was just, again, it was just taking something from pop culture and just sort of playing with it.
Yeah, no, of course, because
everything's a choice, and it's like a fork. You go this way, you close off these possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, that's why when I liked that poem, Sliding Doors, it just spoke to me in a way. It's like, my intuition just told me, like, all right, this is the poem you gotta respond to. And then Lost Key was just like, it just made me realize, like, my love life as well. Like, sometimes I think, like, I'm cursed by it, because I want to love, but I'm also cursed by the idea of it. So,
and I loved it. And again, it was very different to usual stuff, because your poems are sort of normally longer and hit the 3-minute mark, so it's more concise. But I like the fact that it was shorter and each word really hit hard. So yeah, thank you. And I'm not trying to put you off sliding doors. I'm just saying don't expect Citizen Kane. It's an interesting conceit and concept, but like averagely executed.
So not like a top tier, but just like just made it.
Mid tier.
I will tell you that.
All right, man. Thanks.
Nice, man.
We've only got one. And what's interesting is if I were to sequence things the way that I would want, I would have had this person closing out, but I let serendipity do its thing. It's here. So will Rocky step to the stage?
Balboa! Woo, woo,
woo, woo, woo! Our final guest poet of the night.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah. I like that you're Rocky. Because you got to knock him so many times with writing this book.
How many times did you leave notes in Google Docs saying, oh, that's a cliche? Why do you write cliches? Why do you write cliches, Haroon?
I've lost count.
My pushback was to not always hit deadlines.
Yeah.
My very liberal relationship with deadlines and time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inspired by Douglas Adams. You like that whoosh sound of the deadline as it just flies past you. But it's also fitting that you're coming in as the last person because we've known each other for what, probably 6.5 years. Yeah. The minute I started writing again in 2017, I knew that I wanted it to lead to a book. I wanted it to be a piece of work that documented a certain period in time. I wouldn't stop talking about it in 2018, and I kept talking about it again from 2020 onwards, but it was only when you came on board last year around autumn as the editor that it kind of accelerated, and we actually set a deadline for July, which I missed. It's September, but that's because we got a publisher involved and they had a whole bunch of things that they sort of threw in that helped make it better.
Yep.
But what is it that jumped out? Because I've had the pleasure of having a spoiler. I've read and heard the poem. I think everyone's in for a treat, but tell us a little bit, because it ties in with just something that I think me and Zara have been talking about, and I think you and I have been having these conversations about having had like our own kind of quite quirky and sort of non-linear journey to sort of interpreting our own identities as people who are from the South Asian diaspora. Zara's from Bangladesh, you're from India, and I'm from Pakistan. The floor is yours.
So I didn't actually pick a poem. I picked an essay, and it's just a short extract from that, which was about colonization. So it's the moment that I've picked in particular for this poem is when Britain had invaded India, and the Indian Maharaja at the time was completely overthrown. So a little bit of a brief history lesson just for context. He had one heir to the throne, his one son. He was very young, and he was actually brought up over here. So he was brought over to England and brought up by British nobility. He had no concept of who he was. He had no idea about his identity, his culture, and it was just me kind of reimagining, let's say for example he did, what would that mean? And yeah, so the young boy's name was Dilip. So the poem is called What If Dilip Was King? What if Dilip was king instead of just a prince? What if he remembered that he was a Singh and understood what that meant? What if he felt the sting of being the heir to Maharaj Ranjit Singh? Maharani Jind Kaur expected more for her only offspring, clinging to a dream on a wing and a prayer. But he became the empire's plaything, undid his father's legacy like a shoestring and got booted out of the country. Brought him to England so he wouldn't remember anything, to put it bluntly. He went from being a Sikh to worshipping Jesus humbly. But as he got older, he got hungry for power. He couldn't cower away anymore. His time came at the right hour. He asked more about his past and who he was to empower himself, to stop being a wallflower, but he hit a wall. Building himself up took time. Gathering support and have it wavering meant that he never reached his full potential. But let's say for argument's sake that it did. Let's say he overthrew the British Raj and took back what was rightfully his, became a British resident, put on the British crown with the Kohinoor diamond to prove that he was the star of India, but was forever as the Black Prince instead of King Dalip Singh. Thank you. Can I just say, this is my first experience of being an editor, and I'm very proud to say that. And it has been such a privilege working with Haroon to see him grow as a person, as a creative, as an artist. And it really means a lot to me, the fact that you trusted me with your art and your heart in the way that you have. And I honestly think, get one book, get two books, buy for your friends. It is such a testament to him and his craft. So yeah, congratulations. I'm very, very proud of you.
We're now at the final countdown.
We are.
All right.
All I can think of is Arrested Development.
I would like to thank you all for coming today. I was saying, like, we've had a lot of conversations. There's people in this room that your names may or may not have been dropped, and I didn't, what's that saying? I'll put the face to the name, and I got to do that today. And one thing I definitely got to see is that Haroon is truly loved. And each and every single one of you being here from the bottom of my heart is beautiful, and I'm humbled that you are the people that made it today and made his day very special. And you can make it more special by buying 2 books instead of 1. But we're now going to wrap up.
He's a salesman in his day job.
Oh yes,
believe it or not.
Yeah. If you didn't realize, we're going to wrap up today. Oh man, do you know what? I always say, look, guys, I'll be real with you. Off topic. I'm a salesperson, but so are you, right? Like, everyone is a salesperson. The one thing you sell is yourself. If you can't sell yourself, you will struggle in life. So sell yourself by selling your gifts. If you're good at something, go 100% at it the same way he did. It may take you 6.5 years. That's okay. We are here. You've accomplished what you set out to do, and you can do it. So sell yourself, guys.
But surround yourself with good people, because no 100%. One does it alone, and I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't. I met Sophia
Sinclair.
Yes, yeah, and you've had an accountability partner for like 6 years.
Well,
I didn't know you and Charney have been known each other for like 6 years. I only found out you existed in 2020. So there's a lot of other poets, no offense, that have been with you through this journey, indirectly but very directly. And I agree with your point. So how do you want to end this evening? And
well, I think firstly, let's get thank yous out of the way.
Yes.
I mean, they're just too numerous. Wanting to thank friends who supported me, whether they're in creative fields or not. Wanting to thank fellow creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to thank members of my family who've turned up today as well. My sister, I've got 2 cousins who've come, Fahad and Javid, my sister Umbreen. Wanting to thank my partner Lucy, who's been really supportive through all of this, and also kind of in the background was like the producer of this event, kind of telling us, can't do it in that order, trim that, double down on that. So yeah, thank you for all.
You know that saying, right? Behind
basically my
every great
informal
man,
creative director.
Behind every great man.
It's a great woman.
Oh, it's just greatness.
Just great.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah.
Also wanting to thank Jack and Shaka, who've been behind the bar, who've just been holding it down tonight. I think just thanking Jack for creating a great space here.
Beautiful
that
space.
has been, you know, like musicians come through. Also want to thank Arthur on sound, who's made sure that you can hear us loud and clear.
Yep.
So a big thank you to Arthur. So yeah, all of those thank yous. I want to end with reading the penultimate poem from the book, which is basically the poem that Nomadic did a response to. So you'll see what it is that inspired his poem. And I actually think like everyone did a very different take on a response, but I felt like Nomadic's was like, it was like a remix. And I actually grew up in that remix era where it was actually a remix. It wasn't just someone doing a different verse over the same beat. You actually got a different beat and a different everything. Like Sheedy knows. You're from the remix generation.
They invented a lot of things.
So this one's called They Burned All the Books, and I think it's self-explanatory. I'll let everyone see what they think the poem's about. Ideas can't be contained or restrained. They burned all the books. But we descend from griots. And for those who don't know, they're like ancient storytellers who kept everything alive through oral traditions. And they committed entire libraries to memory. So look inwards and be patient. Everything goes in cycles. So whatever trough it is that you're sitting in currently, I promise you, won't last. With hardship comes ease. With hardship comes ease. With hardship comes ease. Repetition is the key to memory, to comprehension. Censorship is the last resort of weak minds and closed hearts. The antidote to that? Let's practice love with intellectual discourse. And travel if you have to learn, even if you have to move to China. Motion creates magic. So untether and roam free. No tariffs. They burned all the books. Let's write new ones. Our minds are free when our hearts are nurtured. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Swami, and your boy Haroon. Hold on. Don't you want an encore? Yeah. Come on, I think he should do one more. I mean, they burned the books, but books still here.
So when they burn all the books, it's handy to commit the odd poem to memory. So this one is called Builder's Brew. Every month on a Saturday morning, I have a prompt start in Soho. The aim is to walk away well-groomed. It is my favourite form of self-care. And it starts the same way every single month. My barber comes to me and we have words exchanged over silk in a cup. That's Builder's Brew. And for any of our transatlantic cousins here, that translates into a milk with 2 sugars. Not particularly a fan of caffeine, but once a month you can make that exception. And he hands me that cup It is a stimulant, but it's also powered with empathy and kindness. Each time I walk away feeling lighter, weight sheds, heart singing in perfect key. Middle C found, blindfolded. Instincts flow freely when facades are shed, like snake skins decaying almost instantly. The past no longer exists, future crafted lovingly in the present, gifting myself light passage. Spirit, now fuel efficient, ULEZ compliant in this world and the next. So give praise, bear witness, and give thanks. And I'm also going to need a little help from you guys. Say, mashallah. Mashallah. Say, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Say, subhanallah. Subhanallah. Smile. Brownie points for laughing with your whole body. Wherever you pass through, please, please, please leave thick residues of love. Thank you.
We are now gonna set up the book signing.